This is going to shock some of you, but sometimes I do draft early running backs. I also took 4 tight ends in this one, a little bit of a different draft than many that I do, but I think it turned out pretty well. I was happy with the final team. We got 3 stacked quarterbacks. Overall, I think covered all the positions pretty well, but we'll talk about it in a minute. This video is sponsored by DraftKings. I'm going to tell you about a great deal that DraftKings has going on just for the rest of the day. I'm going to run that ad real quick right now, and then we will be back in a minute to talk about this draft. Football season is right around the corner, and there's no better way to lock in your fantasy dominance early than with Best Ball on DraftKings, where you draft once and ride your roster all season long. And right now, DraftKings is giving all customers a can't-miss offer. Draft one, get one. Enter a lineup in the $15 million Best Ball contest for just $20, and you'll score another Best Ball ticket to play free for a share of $15 million, giving you a second shot to win big. It's easy. Just draft your team once, no weekly management required, and let your top scorers automatically start each week. Across the whole season, every breakout star, every clutch play, every touchdown will count toward your quest for a share of $15 million. Download the DraftKings Daily Fantasy app now to draft your $20 Best Ball lineup and get a second ticket to play free for a share of $15 million. That's 2 chances to win big without ever setting your lineup again. Draft one, get one. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. All right, so we're starting from the 5 hole here. I was actually kind of hoping to get a running back in the 5 hole. I was hoping either Bijan or Barkley would fall to me. That was not the case. I could have gone with Gibbs, I suppose, but I went with CeeDee Lamb in the 5 hole. I think he is a great pick here this year. So happy to get CeeDee Lamb there. Second round, I do go with Bucky Irving. Could have gone with A.J. Brown. A little bit of a fall there on A.J. Brown, I think. But because I took a wide receiver in the first round, I wanted to mix up the structure a little bit here. So I went with a running back in the second round, Bucky Irving. Always a strong pick. T. Higgins falls a little bit to me at 29. He was the kind of easy pick here. Would have gone Devontae Adams if T. Higgins had not been there, but happy to get a share of Higgins. I was kind of hoping that I would get one of my guys to fall to me at 44. I was hoping for maybe Kittle, Omarion Hampton, Xavier Worthy, all players that sometimes will fall to pick 44. None of them fell, so this is not a spot that I felt particularly great about. I could have just taken Burrow here because I had Higgins. I thought maybe I'd be able to push it to 53, in part because Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith were still available. So I thought oftentimes the number 1 spot will just double click Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith. But then I took Ted McMillan, player that I think is great on DraftKings, should see a ton of targets this year, have a lot of receptions, great on a PPR site. Jalen Hurts ended up going at 46. So that took away that kind of buffer for me to get Burrow at 53. At that point, it was pretty likely that the 1 hole was going to take Burrow. Sure enough, that is what happened. The 3 hole adds on Devontae Smith, so they got that stack instead. Oh well. At 53, often I will take Kenneth Walker. I'd say it's 75% of the time I'll take Kenneth Walker over Chuba Hubbard. This is a full PPR site. Chuba Hubbard not likely to retain much of a pass catching role this year. Maybe I'm not expecting him to catch a ton of passes. I think Rico Dowdle is there, Trevor Etienne is there. They've got some better pass catchers in the backfield, so not expecting a ton of pass catching. So usually default to Kenneth Walker, but I have Ted McMillan, so I decided to build on to that team stack. Just make the bet that Carolina is going to be a better offense than we're expecting, and I have the 2 biggest engines of that offense. So I go Ted McMillan and Chuba Hubbard in this one. At 68, I always love getting a falling RJ Harvey. He's a player that I think could have major upside in Denver. They like throwing to running backs in Denver. Sean Payton offenses. I think RJ Harvey, a very good pass catcher, so I think he could be due for a big season right away. 77, Tony Pollard, just one of my guys. So now we're up to 4 running backs through 7 rounds. A little bit of a unique build for me, but getting a lot of the guys that I just really like. Would have been happy with Pacheco here also, but happy to get Tony Pollard whenever I can. 92, a little bit of a unique pick for me because I already had CeeDee Lamb. So usually I could have just taken Dak Prescott here. I kind of thought about it, but I've got a lot more Dak Prescott than Justin Fields, and I've got Justin Fields ahead of Dak Prescott in my ranks. I just usually don't take him because I don't often have Jets ahead that I'm already stacking with him. So usually I'll take a quarterback in this range that's stacked up with a receiver I already have. Here I decided to get a little bit different. I figured Josh Reynolds is a player that I'm trying to get more of. Justin Fields is a player I'm trying to get more of. Mason Taylor I can throw on later. So I decided to just take the player that I have ranked higher and went with Fields over Dak Prescott. Also thought maybe Dak Prescott would come back to me at 101. And if he didn't, and actually if he did, I still probably would have pushed him to the following round, knowing that the George Pickens drafter was on this side of the board. Didn't happen. The George Pickens drafter took Prescott at 95, but I'm feeling okay because I've got Justin Fields already. I add on to my robust RB start with Jordan Mason here. I'm up to 5 running backs through 9 rounds, and they all have different buys. At this point, I'm pretty happy with my running back room. I think I might be done depending on whether I get some great value. And as you can see here, I ended up with 5. So that is my final running back room. Bucky Irving, Chuba Hubbard, RJ Harvey, Tony Pollard, Jordan Mason. Now I need to focus on other positions. Christian Kirk falls to me at 116. I was kind of hoping to get Trey Harris here. I was actually thinking maybe I'd be able to do a Trey Harris, Justin Herbert. They both go to 2 picks before me. But I'm happy to go with Christian Kirk. He should be the starting slot receiver in Houston. Maybe he holds on to that role. I also thought this will give me another out for CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud goes though at 122. So now I have to think about what I want to do with quarterbacks, which quarterbacks maybe have some backstacking options. Trevor Lawrence has a couple that I feel pretty good in with Brenton Strange, Diami Brown. So I decided to go with Trevor Lawrence. I think he's just a strong value on DraftKings also. Now I've got 2 quarterbacks. I'm still way behind at wide receiver. I've got Kirk, McMillan. You take 3 in the first 4 rounds. It's pretty good, but still just through 10 rounds, just 4 receivers. You can see here, I took for that right away. So I'll have to look through. But Bryce Young, pick 140. I've got Ted McMillan, Jeff Chuba Hubbard. I'll continue that on that offense. Had some rushing up last year. I think Bryce Young is pretty strong value on DraftKings. Next pick at 149. I don't have a tight end yet, so I do need to get to work there as well. I have framed onto that 2-law stack. 14th round, Kyle Pitts, not a player I take a ton of. I could have gone with Mason Taylor for that stack. Talked about Elijah Arroyo as a player I'm targeting right now in my last video. Could have considered him there. I went with Kyle Pitts just as the kind of falling ADP value, figuring I'm going to get at least one more tight end later. I'll try to focus on getting Mason Taylor or Elijah Arroyo with my next picks. Still have a lot of work to do at wide receiver though, so I grabbed Wan'Dale Robinson at 173, hoping, because Mason Taylor is still there, Elijah Arroyo is still there, I'm thinking I can probably get one of them at the next start. I was hoping for Mason Taylor. I was thinking about maybe doing 4 tight ends already at this point, thinking I'll go Wan'Dale Robinson. Maybe then I can get Mason Taylor and Elijah Arroyo with my next 2 picks. When the following drafter took Sam Darnold, I thought, I'm probably not getting Elijah Arroyo back to me. He's probably going to go. And then the next pick is Mason Taylor. So now I'm thinking, all right, I maybe should have taken a tight end here. But I got lucky. Elijah Arroyo did come back to me at 188. Again, I think this is a really strong value for Arroyo. He is a highly regarded prospect in an offense that should be passing a fair amount. Doesn't have a ton of him ahead of him on the depth chart. So I really like getting Arroyo here at 188. Now I'm up to 3 tight ends. Still have a lot of work to do at receiver. I add on Diami Brown to the Jacksonville stack at 197. Josh Reynolds add on to the Jet stack at 212. I do want another tight end here because I didn't take one until Brenton Strange. Kind of a weaker tight end room. So I throw on Jatavian Sanders to that Panther stack. And now we're looking good. And then finally add on Arian Smith as my final receiver in the 20th round. I will say this wide receiver room, not the best. I end up with CeeDee Lamb, T. Higgins, Ted McMillan. Then I take a little bit of a break for Christian Kirk, and then another big break. Wan'Dale Robinson, Diami Brown, Josh Reynolds, and Arian Smith. So it's a concern. But as long as the top guys stay healthy, I still have 3 really good receivers and then a few others that can mix in there. So I think it's almost okay. Not my favorite receiver group. I did not love how I did in this draft. Go with 4 tight ends. I think with the 4 of them, I had to get there with volume because I started drafting them in the 13th round. But I think I feel okay about it, all things considered, since I did get Strange, Pitts, and Arroyo and JT Sanders. And then quarterbacks, Justin Fields, again, just a player I want to get more of. Trevor Lawrence, I saw him go 172 in a draft on Friday night. My friend Fantasy Guru Drew got him in one of our stream drafts. So taking him 175, man, that's a lot earlier than Drew got him, but I still think is a fine value at 125. I think it's worth that price tag. And then Bryce Young, another strong bet. So I feel pretty good about the receivers, feel good about the running backs. Again, I went 5 early, feel good about the tight ends, not feeling great about the wide receivers in this room. I'd call this one a B, maybe even a B minus draft. I think it can get there if the wide receivers play okay, but ultimately not my favorite draft. What do you think of it? Let me know what you would grade this one as in the comments. Please like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and hit that little notification bell if you want to get alerts when I post content or my shows go live. Thanks, guys, and I will catch you in the next one.